Okay.
Mokshda, over to you.
Yes, thank you so much. So I have got around 20 minutes from what I understand. 15 I will speak, and I will cut myself in between so that you can ask questions if you have any. I just would like to know how many of you in the audience today, and thank you for being here to listen to me, how many of you have got businesses in Mauritius, registered in Mauritius under Mauritian laws? Okay, right, so a majority, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So what you need to know that nowadays, not nowadays, for some time now, compliance about the money laundering laws. Okay, AML CFT means anti-money laundering, and CFT is combating the funding of terrorism. Now, these laws have become part and parcel of business today. Just the way we have an HR department, more and more we need to have, especially for businesses under the regulators, and the field is growing, expanding every time. The last one to, I mean, I will come in my lecture about it, but what I want to say is that we are all going to be falling under a regulator, okay? And we'll have to abide by certain rules and regulations regarding compliance. So it's best that we know it from now itself. And I will be, so basically my company is called Aquila Training and Consulting. We do a lot of legal advisory, we do litigation, we also do training in AML CFT, data protection. What else? We do training in Workers' Rights Act, employment laws, and we also go to court. But the main thing is that we really focus on anti-money laundering and CFT, combating of terrorism. So I'm going to share my screen with you. You just let me know if you can all see it. Can you see my PowerPoint? Now, yes, good, thank you. So this is a long PowerPoint. I'm not going to be able to go through all of this, but I'm going to just kind of give you an overview and speak at the same time. I can share part of it, but we have got training going every month on AML CFT. It's at night from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. And the next training is on the 5th and the 6th of October, 6 hours of training. Just email and you can register for our trainings. Right, so have you all heard about money laundering? I'm sure you have. For those who live in Mauritius, it's on the newspapers every day, isn't it? And what we see in the newspapers are the stories about so much of money found because of drug transactions. ADSU has found drug money somewhere and this and that. I'm sure you have heard about the case of Garubi. For those who live in the north, you know this story recently. It was, I think, the largest amount of money found, cash, 3 billion rupees cash found in a car park, in a parking area, in a hotel at Canonier Beachcomber in the north. Okay, so when you see that in this country, Mauritius has become, in a way, a transit point for the laundering of black money. And this is why we have, okay, what do you understand? I just want to ask first, what do you guys understand by money laundering? Anyone? What is black money? What is white money? It's
black money is dirty money.
Exactly, black money is dirty money. And what do we mean by dirty money? And why is the government so keen to track down, and not only our government, but all governments in every country are so keen to track down the black money? Is because they lose out on taxes. If there's an economy where there's a lot of black money, and black money means basically where the money is dirty money, which means it is cash money, cash transactions. Whether it is selling dalpuris, okay, whether it is selling vegetables, or it can go up to doing a lot of business in cash. So all these cash transactions do not have any kind of, registration, and therefore the government loses out on taxes. And this is why you have got what is called the watchdogs at international level, the FATF, Financial Action Task Force, and you have got at African level, the ISAMLAG, and we have got, and Mauritius tries to maintain a good reputation in those lists and the EU list. Remember, we were on the black list of EU, we were on the gray list of ISAMLAG, we were on the gray list of FATF. So we were on all these bad lists, because that meant that we were a jurisdiction which allowed too much of black money to come and transit in the country. Okay? And therefore, the government has put on very stringent laws for the past 2-3 years, so that the system operates, and also to give, you know, the cheat card, the report card to internationally. And thankfully, this year in July, we have been largely compliant with all the 40 recommendations of FATF. Right. So what is black money? Basically, money laundering is where the person, whoever is dealing, a business is dealing with any kind of business, is trying to conceal the true origin and ownership of the money which is illicit. Okay. Of course, banks do not accept black money. Nowadays, if you're going to open a bank account, you'll see there'll be so many papers you have to fill up. And the KYC is very, very stringent. Where does your money come from? You have to explain, why are you sending money? Do you know what is the rate? How much cash transactions you can do in Mauritius? Any idea? You cannot do cash transactions in
250,000 or 350,000, I think.
Yes, that is as part of the BOM, Bank of Mauritius Act. But normally, as per the FIAMLA, you cannot transact in cash for more than 500,000 rupees.
500,000, yeah.
Yes, okay. And 350 is normally what the bank accept, but the maximum limit is 500,000. So if your client comes to you and is giving you cash payment of 550,000, you can't take it. Whether, irrespective of whether his money is clean or not clean, you cannot take it. Now, also there is, okay, I'm coming to it. So this is what is black money, and what happens is, when we have black money, basically, of course, the people doing black money, they know that money is illegal. It's not clean. Whether it is tax crime, evasion of taxes, we're not talking about tax avoidance here. Tax avoidance means financial planning of taxes. Okay, here we're talking about evasion. How do I evade tax? I bring all my money to Mauritius and I try to evade South African taxes. How do I do that? Okay, you're not allowed to do it anymore. SARS has actually got a special system now. If you have to, it's attached itself to the citizenship now. Okay, but anyway, that is what fraud, a lot of fraud. Now there's when I talk about fraud, please note that in Mauritius, frauds are not defined. What is a fraud? Like you have your UK Fraud Act. You have other countries define what is a fraud. In Mauritius, it's not defined. It's just a financial crime. So it's very important for the police to be able to kind of put the pieces together in the investigation and then define whether it is an embezzlement, it is a forgery, it's a swindling. So, you know, kind of define the nature of the crime. Okay? Corruption, bribery, all these are there. So that what happens then, this money is black in origin. Drugs. In Mauritius, the main source of black money is drugs. We have got a lot of black money in drugs. The money is then placed either through money changers or through purchases done, buying yachts, buying cars, luxury goods, whatever what's done, or give to the mistress, jewelry. Now, all this is done, then it is layered out in the system. And what is so funny is the Garubi brothers, the media case I gave you, they used to go every Saturday and bet at the races. Bet, you know, the horse racing Champ de Mars, they used to bet on all the horses in one race. So you have 6 horses in one race, they would bet their money on all the horses. One has to lose, the rest will, one will win and the rest will lose. So what would happen then? There would be so much of black money, which would be like wasted, if you want, okay? And the horse which would win, that would help them then launder, layer the money, integrate it in the system. So they were ready to lose 5 million in black to be able to whitewash 1 million rupees. Do you get it? Now, one of the biggest source, I mean, I'm not going to give you tips on how to launder black money, but one of the biggest areas on where laundering of black money is done is in the real estate sector. How will I know whether my wall is a wall which is of, how is it, Beto Army that is in Mauritius? How will I know how much that costs? The contractor comes with a list, he needs this, that, and everybody pays cash. The hardware shop takes cash, okay? And this is where so much of black money is actually going into the sector. And as you all know, real estate sector in Mauritius is a thriving sector, despite COVID and all, okay? And therefore, what is happening now, the real estate agents have gone under the radar. They have now got a regulator. So you have to abide as per to the law and to the regulations given by the regulator. And they will come, of course, and inspect whether you're compliant with the Aml Cft and everything. So it's becoming more and more difficult because it's really like they're trying to kind of block the circulation of black money. If you take more than 500,000 cash and go to the bank will keep the money. They will take the money from you, but they will immediately file a suspicious transaction report on you, an STR. And the next thing you will know, the FIU, the Financial Intelligence Unit, is going to come and investigate in your business. Moving on to the next, as I said to you already, the number one black money laundering offense in Mauritius is the drug dealing. Okay, that's from the National Risk Assessment Report 2019. You can find it on the FIU, Financial Intelligence Unit in Mauritius, which has links with all the FIUs in the world. So they know exactly, they have the list of those people who are listed as being money launderers. Okay, it's called the Egmont Group. And then embezzlement, swindling, high value larceny. Larceny is the old word we use for theft. Please note that in Mauritius, we have got a legal system which is a hybrid system, which is a mixture of French and English system. We have been colonized by both France and England, okay? Which means the substantial law we have in Mauritius is French law. Our code penal, our criminal law is based on French law. And then we have all the procedural laws, whether it is evidence, whether it is Company Act, which are English laws. So it's quite a mixture. So as a lawyer, when you come to me, you basically pay me to do my research on where do I have to go and find the law. Okay? So that is what makes the law complex. Now, talking about, I'm coming back to high value larceny. The moment there is a theft, more than 100,000 rupees in Mauritius, there are two cases which open. One case opens at the CID level, at the normal criminal court, criminal level, which is the police station. You go there, you file it. So at the CID, Central Investigation Department, they will open a case on this high value larceny. At the same time, a second case will be opened automatically at the Aml Cft unit of the police. Do you get it? So the person, whoever is the alleged accused, is going to be prosecuted for two charges. I will come to it in my presentation, and of course, tax. So just understand this, okay? When we look at the laws concerning what are the laws, the mother law remains the FIAMLA 2002 as amended, financial intelligence, anti-money laundering law. And then you have also the regulation of 2018. We also have got same money laundering in the drug dealing, the DDA, Drug Dealing Act, Section 13. And then I told you the offenses of fraud, which are not defined in our law, and also illegal bookmaking, high-value larceny, and corruption and tax evasion are found in the Mauritius Revenue Authority Act, the POCA, and under the ICAC, who's the regulator. So each one have a regulator. Who is, if you are in the, I'm coming to this. Okay, let me first explain to you what we mean by money laundering. The law is very clear about it. It says that any person can be a company, can be a legal person, can be a natural person, okay, who engages in a transaction which involves property, which in whole or in part, directly or indirectly, represents the proceeds of a crime. The proceeds of a crime, I'm going to explain that to you, is going to be basically involved in money laundering. Now, what do we mean by engage? Okay, engaging means it is very vast. It doesn't mean that actually you have been caught doing it. You could have been caught trying to do it also. Okay, or you could have been you have been caught and you have been prosecuted, and then you have not been found guilty by court of doing the theft or doing the swindling. But still, the case under money laundering can still hold. You can be found not guilty under the criminal code, but you can be found guilty under the FIAMLA for the same offense. Do you understand? Yes? Okay, good. So when we talk about transaction, we're talking about anything. It can be here, note the definition. It includes opening an account, passbook, renting a safety box, entering into fiduciary relationships, any other relationships, even electronically or otherwise. And it also concerns proposed transaction or attempted transaction. So I'm talking to a person in South Africa who wants to bring in money in Mauritius, and I don't know what is the company, and I need to do my proper KYC. I need to check whether this person, that the money of that person is white or black. Okay? Because it can be even a proposed transaction which did not go through, but as a lawyer, I can still be found guilty under Section 2 of the FIAMLA. Okay? Now, the Section 3(1)(b) tells you also that the person, you can be guilty of money laundering when you're receiving money, or in possession, or concealing money, disguising money, transferring, converting, disposing, removing, or bringing into Mauritius property in whole, in part, directly, indirectly, etc. Okay, what do we mean about these different property I've already given? What do we mean by these different offenses which have come in the law? Concealment of black money, we know already. Concealing, trying through different methods, whether it is paying people cash, Mason's cash, or all of these things, that can be concealment of black money. Disguising and transferring through money changers, try to make it look clean. Converting of black money, for example, dentists. When people make golden or platinum teeth, the dentists are now under the radar because they are converting black money into legitimate things. Now, derived and realized means what? Is what are the clean purchases you are making with the black money? Whether you have bought a flat or you have bought a yacht, whatever it is. What is interesting to know is also the last part. Whoever brings into Mauritius money which is legal elsewhere, but it is illegal in Mauritius. Okay, so say I am a businessman from Holland and I've got a cafe there and I'm selling cannabis in that cafe. Can I bring that? I close down my cafe. I want to start a cafe here, a normal cafe, no cannabis sale. Can I bring that money here? As per the FIAMLA, you can't. Because you cannot profit from a business which is illegal elsewhere, which is legal elsewhere. Prostitution is illegal in Holland, in Amsterdam, okay? But can you bring that, the proceeds here? No, you cannot. Okay? So this, of course, you have to go and see a lawyer, obviously, and then see whether the business is going to be accepted or not. Okay. Now, what the law also says is that there's no need to prove that the accused was involved in a criminal activity. All the police needs to do is put a charge on you. And the burden of proof, normally, you know, as per criminal law, everybody is presumed innocent until proven guilty. But here, the burden of proof reverses. Here, in this law, you are presumed guilty and you have to prove that you are innocent. So you have to basically show that my money is clean. Okay? The FIU is going to come and say, you are dealing with black money, bring all the evidence. And this is what is called compliance, where you have to make sure you're keeping all your evidence clearly. All those companies, all the organization businesses which fall under the regulator have to maintain all their documents, because they can be asked at any point to come and show whether this client money is clean or not. Okay. Case, we have got a Privy Council case. Don't forget that our highest apex court in Mauritius, highest court in Mauritius, the Privy Council, a case of Bola, said basically that there is no need to go in all the details. The nature of the offense is sufficient. So meaning the police can come and say, and you know, dealing with the police in Mauritius is highly dangerous. I think all of you know what is, we have got these provisional charge problems in Mauritius. Okay. All the police can come and say that we suspect, we have reasonable ground to suspect that Denise is involved in money laundering. And there is no need to prove what is the crime she's guilty of. All we need to say, it is a financial crime. Okay? And that is sufficient to convict Denise under the law. So it's quite very wide, and it goes again, it's a lot of violation of human rights here. But the problem what you have to understand is, once you're convicted under this act, or even before you're convicted under this act, there can be attachment on all your property, attachment of all your money, your house, your car. You're not. It's going to basically tie your arms and your hands and your feet. This happened in a case in Saint-Pierre, where this man was suspected of drug trafficking. And the authorities moved to attach his property. Now, you know how Mauritians live? Mauritians live like in the same courtyard. You have got 3, 4, 5 brothers, the parents at the back, the other brother and his family on the side, etc. But when they attach the property, they attach the property of the whole family, which means the kids of the brothers' children couldn't go to school. The cars were not available. All the bank accounts were attached, were seized. Were frozen. You cannot take out your money. And then it becomes so tedious for the person to go and try to obtain, a survival money out of, try to get this order removed, because everything takes time in Mauritius. So this is where it is better. Prevention in the matter of compliance is better than cure. Because here the system is, I've been a lawyer for 25 years now. The system is, not against people, but I would say the criminal system especially is not in favor of people. If the police machinery starts, then it's very difficult to get out of it. Okay? So again, I would say that try to stay away. Try to make sure that everything is on record, everything is proper. In the case of Batu, that was a pharmacist who could not explain where his money come from, and he had illegal tablets in his pharmacy. The presumption was automatically that the money came from drugs, and therefore he was convicted. I explained to you how the Aml Cft Architecture starts immediately. That is the investigation. The moment you're going to report a case, the case goes automatic. It goes at two levels. It goes at the money laundering level, at the ADSU, and then it goes at the money laundering level. and investigation are going to start immediately in both sides, parallel investigations. One will go under the FIAMLA law, the other one will go under criminal code. They're going to notify all the agencies, whether the FIU, the Registrar of Companies, Registrar of Associations, the land registry, to find out whether the person has a property, Registrar of Companies, whether the person has shares in companies. You're going to check out who are the people associated to him, whether he's a politically exposed person, all these things are going to be done. And then the inquiry will be, of course, if it's complex cases, it will go to the ICAC, if there's corruption or bribery involved. And then it will go, it will then go to the DPP for advice. When the police has the whole thing ready. I have just lodged a case. Not just, it's been 2 years now. We have lodged a case on fraud, and the inquiry has been completed only after 2 years. So for 2 years, my client has not seen the color of his money. He's lost 8 million rupees. We are suing to get the money back, and also we have lodged a case before the commercial courts and a case before the criminal courts, and it takes time. Please note that the government has, under the last year's Finance Act, 2020, not last year, 2020 Finance Act, has created the division of financial crime divisions at the Supreme Court level and also at the intermediate court level. Supreme Court in Mauritius is above 2 million rupees, and intermediate court is between 250,000 to 2 million rupees. Okay, so things are more or less clear. I'm going to go, I know I've got very less time. Concerning terrorist financing, what do we mean by terrorist financing? Please don't think that it doesn't happen. A lot of terrorist money goes through Mauritius also. Okay, here we're talking about funds collected for terrorist purposes. In the Finance Act 2022, they have included the word funding of financial terrorism. They have included proliferation also. Proliferation means investing money in creating, in manufacturing, all this of weapons of mass destruction, whether it is biological, chemical, all kinds of weapons of mass destruction. Okay. If you think it doesn't happen to us, it does happen to us. This law is very, very wide. There were two Mauritian couple who were convicted under the British Sanctions Act, the law concerning this funding of terrorism and proliferation is the Sanctions Act. And you have got the Sanctions Act in all the countries, okay? And the Sanctions Act of UK convicted 2 Mauritians of financing, so paying a bus ticket for the nephew so it was what, £100 to go to Syria to join the Taliban. It can be something so small. The money here is legitimate. They just paid a bus ticket. But the purpose for which they paid it was terrorism. Okay? And they were convicted of that. So this is where we have got this other law. So we talk about the FIAMLA and we talk about the Sanctions Act. And the Sanctions Act, therefore, in Mauritius is there to make sure that the countries implement targeted financial sanctions as recommended under the international law. So which means what in practice? In practice, it means that when you're dealing with people from certain countries, you are not allowed, you have to inform the authorities immediately, and you don't deal with those people. Which are the countries? Originally, there were 2 countries. One was Iran and one was North Korea. Now, this is a list of countries. North Korea, Iran is there, obviously. Cuba, Somalia, Sudan, Venezuela, Syria, Iraq, Yemen, Crimea, Ukraine. So whenever you have businesses with these countries, you are supposed to inform the National Sanctions Secretariat, which is under the PMO, the Prime Minister's Office. Okay? what is the current scenario today, to kind of conclude on this, is that we are largely compliant because we are complying with the laws. How are we complying with the laws? We have got the regulators on our head. The regulators for management companies and all were only, I'm just going quickly on this. We have got a risk-based approach. I just looking, and I just want to look for the slide on the regulators. So each sector has a regulator, and the regulators are, here goes, the different sectors. So not only financial services are regulated, which is FSC, all the banks, but you also have now regulation of non-designated financial, non-financial designated businesses like jewelry shops, real estate, accountants, of course, gambling, casinos and all that. Everything falls, and real estate sector has come. Lawyers have come under the radar. We are under the radar of the FIU. So all this information you will find on the FIU website. You please go there and see whether the sector of your business is regulated. If it is regulated, there are certain guidelines already there, what you're supposed to do. For example, you're supposed to do a mandatory training of all your staff and yourself once a year. That is where my company comes in. We provide the trainings, okay? And you're also supposed to keep all your documents in order, because you can, anytime FIU can ask for documents, or they can come, the inspectors can come and check. And the fines are quite hefty if you're not compliant. So and the compliance audit, we do the compliance audit. The compliance audit is supposed to be independent, not from your own personal accountant or your personal lawyers. It is supposed to be independent. So that it is important to do that. And whenever you're dealing with any business, please make sure that you know who is the ultimate beneficial owner of that business. Okay? Because if it is anything, Alvaro Sobrino, things like that, be careful, because the laws in Mauritius are extremely strict. The FIU is going to sit on your business, and they keep changing the tactics every time. They do surprise visits, and just compliance now is the norm. Every business also needs to have their MLRO and the compliance officer. So all this is now, it's now part of the business structure in modern times. Okay? Thank you so much. And if you have any questions, anything, my email is Aml Cft Aquila, and our email address is, my email address is director@lexaquila.org. I'll put it on the chat. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mokshda.